welcome to Straight from the Muzzle, folks, where we're anything but straight. My name is Paradox.
Oh, my name's Gably, the kangaroo.
And we welcome you to our show, which is about what today?
We are interviewing a special guest today. They are very special. You all know him. You love him well. He's a bear. He's from outer space. He sparks inspiration to us all. Please welcome the creator of Straight from the Muzzle himself, Space.
It's me!
Surprise!
Surprise interview.
Surprise interview.
What a weird concept.
I can't wait for everybody to be like, what in the world? Why is Paradox doing the introduction? Who the heck is this guy?
Who is Gably?
Who's Gably?
I'm just a green kangaroo.
They added another host? Why?
I wish.
So I'll just kind of splurt real quick because I don't know your guys' notes because I requested they didn't share any notes with me for a reason. But I had this idea, I was toying around just in the back of my mind. I was like, what if we did like a thing where my team interviews me? And then Gably, within a couple of days of me just kind of thinking this, mentioned, hey, what if we did an episode where we interviewed you? And I'm like, oh my God, it's a sign.
Cough, cough, Young Furs episode, cough.
Yeah. So here we are. I'll let you guys take it away.
Gably evidently has telepathy.
Apparently.
Yes, apparently. I've emailed in a few times. I've talked to Space. We met out of coincidence.
Oh, yeah. And if you guys are wondering, yes, those are cats in the background.
Yes, I have kittens I'm raising, and they are being loud and obnoxious.
They're just putting their 2 cents in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They're the glorified peanut gallery.
Yeah. They're atmospheric kittens.
So why don't you guys explain how this works?
So this is just going to work like any other interview that we have here on the show. We have compiled a list of questions. It's going to go every other one. So I will probably start off with the first question in our list, and then the next one Gably will also, will ask, and then it'll kind of go from there. We have lots of fun questions for you.
Yes,
some of them are like your stereotypical ones that like you would kind of expect, and some of them are like a little bit more. I would like to think maybe a little bit more deep or even just a little silly. So I am excited to get into this. Also, my voice is just terrible today. It's like cracking. So we love second puberty.
I feel like every time I talk to you, your voice gets lower. It's gotta be the testosterone.
Yes, I have already surpassed my dad, like in voice low, like level. It is insane. So
you should have done like a TikTok like mini video where you every day you recorded your voice getting lower and lower.
So I've done like a couple months. Like I do like a monthly update. I'm like, hey, this is, my name is so-and-so, and this is my voice like 3 months on T. I did like a 6 months on T thing. And like the drastic difference from day 1 on T to like 6 months on T. Insane.
Oh, you'll have to link me those so I can see.
Oh, I will. Oh my gosh, I'll do that.
If I remember correctly, they're on TikTok too.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Dumb brain.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. So, well, enough about me. We can do me another day.
And we can do Crow another day.
Ooh.
I'm 100% down for that.
Let me clarify this real quick, too, because some people might be like, well, why are we doing an episode interviewing me? Well, let me just tell you real quick. I don't ever get interviewed. It's a very rare occasion where someone will email me saying, hey, we'd like to interview you. And it's usually for another podcast. But no one ever interviews me. It's always about the podcast itself, which is great. I love answering those questions, but no one ever asks questions about me. So I'm interested to kind of see what you guys have come up with, because I don't know. I specifically asked them not to share them so that my answers could be genuine to the questions being asked. Instead of me just thinking it.
Yeah, we've been brainstorming these set of questions for quite some time.
And typically when it comes to guest interviews, we usually send out notes with the questions to our guests to review to see if it's okay with them so that they're not caught off guard, because we don't want to ask questions that our guests don't want to answer. And we don't want to have a weird lingering feeling in the middle of recording for them. We'd rather them say, no, I don't want to answer this. Try another one. And then we'll go back to the drawing board and try again. But in this particular case, I'm up for anything.
We're getting down and dirty, and we're going to interrogate you. We need a little flashlight. Go tell Felix to point a flashlight at you, because I can't do it
You're
myself.
gonna waterboard me? How exciting!
Okay. Who's good cop and bad cop here?
And then who's the gay cop?
That's
I want to be the gay bad cop.
Yes.
Why
That's
can't we
not the
all
right
be gay?
answer. Slap. and then make out with me.
I would
Ooh,
kiss
who
you.
who brought in the fuzzy handcuffs?
Ooh. Like, look, Space, they're pink and sparkly, just like you like them.
If I were to interrogate someone, I'd break so many federal policies. Be like, get that guy out of here before we get a lawsuit.
See, and this is why I was like, maybe we should stop at this many questions, because we're always going to tangent. So,
Oh yes.
Okay.
Otherwise,
No
it's
more
gonna be
tangenting
like,
from me. I'll let you guys take over.
You're fine.
I'm just going to sip my LaCroix on my end.
So Paradox,
Ew,
ready for the first
LaCroix.
question?
I was telling
Oh.
Space that LaCroix is gross, but yes.
Ugh.
Whatever.
Ew. Listen,
Yum.
LaCroix are literally just spicy carbonated water that they whisper flavor into. They literally just go, okay, what flavor is it?
It's black raspberry.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
then
God.
listen, all they do is they put carbonation in water, and they take a separate cup, and then they yell into it, black raspberry, and they dump that into the cup with the carbonated water, and they shake it up a little bit, and that's LaCroix.
I need to send you a video on YouTube because there's a skit where it's like a hipster dinner, and this guy's like making a soup, and he's like, add more rosemary, and the guy's like, that's too much rosemary, and he's like, I'm sorry, and he like whispers it over the soup. So anyways,
Anyway, okay, so first and foremost, let's just get into it. All right, so our first interrogation question that we have for you, Space, is kind of stereotypical. Like I said, there's a couple in here that you've probably answered in the past, but this is a interview for you. So let's start from the very beginning. How did you first discover the furry fandom, and what drew you to it?
porn. It's true. Okay, so to be exact, so I think I was looking on at that time it was called Xtube before it was taken down.
Oh, X.
Boo.
Ooh.
So I was looking on Xtube and I was trying to like just look at. I think I was looking at like puppies or something because I love puppies, like the neoprene puppies. Oh my god, I just love them.
They're comfy hoods.
Well, and I just
recently
love the way
joined a
they.
pup group.
I love the way that they sit on people's faces and the way they squish the eyes. I don't know. There's something about it. I see a puppy and I'm like, oh, I just want to cuddle you. You know, kind of a thing. That's like how I see it. When I'm at a convention and I see puppies, I'm like, puppies. So I get really excited. But anyways, I was searching videos and I came across one that was like this two, what we now know as fursuiters were having sex. Okay. Which is contrary because a lot of people hate the fact that, you know, people have sex in fursuits. But I saw this and I'm like, that's really interesting. What is this? So like I look in the description and it says fursuit. I'm like, what the fuck is a fursuit? So I go, I have to see pictures. I go to Google and I type in fursuit. And it pulls up these images and then it pulls up a video. And the video just happened to be an MFF video way, way, way back in the day. And I watched this and I'm like, this is really cool. I kind of like this. And so from that MFF video, I watched a bunch of don't hate me for it because they have some good videos still. I don't care for how they act now. The Don't Hug Cacti videos that they used to make back in the day.
Oh.
I started watching a bunch of those videos, and then I went to watching Easy Wolf's video productions. And then from there, I kind of just really liked the concept of what this was. And I found a little community on Facebook in Utah, and I went to my very first fur meet, and I fell in love. It's the people that understand who I am as a person. I always felt like I was the outcast all my life, and I finally found a fandom that is full of outcasts. So that's essentially how I found the fandom.
Nice.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're porn.
Of course.
Let me be specific. Porn.
All right. Gabby, would you like to take away with the next question?
Of course.
Cool.
Now, I've been actually curious about this. Space, what is your character's origin story, or how did you land on the idea of your persona?
Okay, so the persona has evolved over time. My original persona was Space Dog Spiff, which was a husky that was kind of like a Star Trek like husky. From there, it evolved into a husky wolf, and then from there into a husky bear, and then from there into a full-fledged polar bear. Now, I have toyed around with the idea of a backstory because there are some cybernetic enhancements that Space does have, but you don't necessarily see them in my current artwork because I've kind of opted for something that more represents me as a person. But there was a time where I kind of created this backstory where my character came from this line of basically, what do you call it? I guess you could say like a research lab. The government was performing on genetics and splicing human like qualities and DNA into animals, and they were trying to create a kind of super species of an army. And so one of those species was Space's ancestry, but later on down the like fails, they finally came across one that really worked. But my character basically rebelled against I think I called it like not the ISS, because that's the International Space Station, but something. I think it was like, the CSS, like the Cosmic Space. It was something.
So, because you stated this in a old episode.
Yeah.
Talking about how your character was all teched out with a closet with a bunch of technology that only works with him, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and so he rebels and kind of just goes rogue and does his own thing. He has tech that's on his left arm, essentially, and on his right, but the tech only works for him. So if he needs like a gun or he needs a portal, it only works with his DNA. If anyone were to take the tech off, which he can do, it won't work for them. He has to have his DNA, and it has to be like almost symbiotically working with him at the same time. So you couldn't take the DNA from the bear and try to make it work with the tech. The tech has to be one with the bear.
So go gadget.
Kind of, yeah, pretty much. A go gadget bear.
I forgot about go gadget. All right. So that wraps up your origin story. Let's see. How do you balance your personal life with your involvement in the furry fandom?
That's an interesting question. So my involvement in the furry fandom is through the podcast mostly now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of intertwines majority of the day. So a day in the life of Space is working and also working. Hold on.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you, LaCroix.
Nice.
So while I'm working at work, I'm also, constantly coming up with ideas, things that are sparked by everyday things that I'm doing, or maybe it's something that I'm currently working on, or maybe I'm reading the news and I'm like, oh, maybe this will be a really good idea for the podcast. And I'll go over my Telegram and my saved messages, and I'll type myself a message like, hey, possible, topic idea, boom, send that over. And then, of course, I have Telegram in my browser. So at work, I have it pinned. So every time I see a little message come up, it's usually like Paradox is sending me a message, or one of my team is sending me a message, or Gably sending me a message, or I'm going into the SFTM and friends, Telegram chat, and I'm looking there to see how everyone else is doing. So it's kind of like I don't do like work and then I come home and I work on, the podcast and then I'm involved in the fandom that way. It kind of all works together in my way. And it works for me. It might be chaotic for some people to be like, I don't know how you do it. Like I have a coworker, she's like, you need to get like a date calendar and write down all these events that you're doing. I'm like, no. It's in my head. I'm good. She's like, but no, it's not. I'm like, no, trust me. It is. I know what particular, and I told her, I'm like, I do a podcast. I know what day we're doing it. I know all the time zones of all my hosts, including the guests. I know what we're talking about. I know where all the documents are. Don't worry. It's in my head. I'm good.
Nice.
It's all in the noggin.
all in the noggin, all logged in there. Honestly, I would get confused. I would have to have like a log. So like, I honestly don't know how your brain holds all of that information. It's kind of incredible, honestly. Like,
I
I
guess
definitely admire it.
like, okay, so I like the concept of having limitless creativity. What I mean by that is I was having a conversation with another friend of mine who runs a different podcast, and he was saying, hey, you should do like a Patreon. You should, try to raise money, have people donate money to you so that you can help pay for your services and stuff. And then I said, I could do that. But the moment I do that, where we have a subscription service, then I'm obligated to produce something for our fans. And that closes the gap for limitless creativity. I now have basically a level
goal.
above a goal, and I don't want to have that. I have goals, but I like the ability of being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, creating topics, reaching out to guests, chatting with people across. I don't want to be capped off, because the minute you cap something off, it's not fun anymore. Then you're working for it. And I want to have fun with it. And
because it feels like whenever you finally make money off something, you have something to go after, and you're just pushing yourself harder and harder until you can't.
And so doing it the way that we do it, it gives me unlimited opportunities. I'm also a really creative type person. I like to dabble in graphic art. I play the piano, but I don't play it exclusively for people.
You also sing.
Yeah, I can sing. I have a variety of talents about me, and I use them all in different ways. But sometimes I sit at home or up at my desk, and I'm like, I'm surprised I don't go crazy with all the crap that I do every single day. Okay, I'm talking to this person about this episode. I'm talking about this person to this episode. I'm sending a tweet. I'm responding to those tweets. I'm responding to an email. I'm setting up an episode, going on to Buzzsprout, setting up another, space for Crow to go on there to upload his episode so that I can go in there and edit all the information, grabbing it from the notes from here. And so in my mind, it's kind of like a constant, what do you call it? Like a thought word is what do they call those word charts where like you start with a word and then you start to cloud them out?
I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember what the heck they're called.
Me either. I know what you're talking about.
Shoot. What is that?
Oh, a brainstorm.
Oh, there you go.
My mind is like an endless brainstorm.
You have
there's
the
me in the middle,
brainies.
and then there's just constant little clouds popping up from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and it never really stops. And that's kind of like what it looks like in my brain. That's the best way that I can say it.
It's not a Venn diagram. It's something else.
No diagrams. It's a brainstorm.
It's
just
a tornado.
Yeah. It's
Brain
chaos,
beads.
and I love it.
Anyway, all right. Would you like to take the next question?
Of course.
Cool.
So, Space, what inspired you to start podcasting from the very beginning, even before Straight from the Muzzle?
So, for a lot of the new fans, listeners that aren't aware, I did a show called For Media, which started before Straight from the Muzzle. They're essentially one and the same thing. I just rolled For Media into a new name and into a new format. Basically, with For Media, when I found the fandom, I found there was a lot of things that were really difficult to navigate, like where to get a ref sheet, where to go find artists, where to find groups to connect with other furries, all of these things. And I thought, I wonder what would happen if there was something out there that would guide other furries into the right direction on where to go when they find the fandom. And I thought, well, I wonder if I could do that, because I have a background in social media. Basically, I can create like Facebook pages like nobody's business back in the day. I mean, now it's like ridiculously confusing. But before I really got into podcast or really kind of doing the whole For Media thing, I was managing social media pages like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for the company that I was working at. And so when I left that company and I went to another one, I used what I know or knew to create basically for media. So I knew how to create social media accounts, get them ready, up and ready to go. I knew just basically the knowledge that I had. What I wasn't sure how to do was do videos and how to record them, which I learned I can do through a screen capture program, which I initially used. And then I would then upload those videos to a source. I didn't use YouTube at first, but eventually I did switch over to YouTube, where we would record off of YouTube. That was a nightmare. Oh my God, let me tell you, because you have to have a screen capture program with code and information that you have to then plug into YouTube. So that way, when you go live on YouTube, it's connecting to essentially the capture program you're using, so that when I've got an image on my screen, it's showing up on the end of YouTube so all the viewers can see it. It's a lot of technical know-how and a lot of like trial and error. I can tell you, we messed up so many times. There were times where audio didn't work, the video didn't work. There was just so much to learn. And eventually I got someone else to do it for me. And we were doing these how-to videos, and we would have live sessions where we'd have like, telephone come on, and we had Topaz, we had a couple of dancers come on. It was a lot of fun, and that actually got us our foot in the door. Once we got some big names, then we were able to really kind of like roll out some pretty awesome guests and topics to talk about. But then we had a change up of people. At that point, I had Punya and then a few other people that were helping me out. And then this one guy came in. He was really like up and go, like, I'm a super fan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, this will be great. Like they'll know exactly what I want. Well, they kind of like spun out of control, and I wasn't able to control them. And they did some things that I just didn't really like. And so I had to drop them. And that was like a really low point because I didn't really know what to do with the show at that point. And then later on, like a month later, the guy that was running our screen capture program just decided to up in, I'm out, I'm done, I'm leaving the fandom. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know anything. I don't know any like the programs that he was using to go live on YouTube. And so I was scrambling because I had a live show to do like the next night. And I had to learn probably months worth of technical know-how to pull this off. And I tried to do it, and I still remember it because it's emotional, but I tried to go live. The audio wasn't working. The video wasn't working. The fans were upset because they couldn't get anything. And I said, you know what? I'm done. Never again. I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much work. It's not worth it if I can't get it to work on my end. And so I just stopped. And for a time period of like maybe a month, I was just like, I don't know what to do. Should I just stop what I'm doing? I've got something good, but I'm not sure what to do. And then I remembered that my friend Rue has a podcast. And I'm like, what if I turn what we have into a podcast? And we changed the name from For Media with an idea of a name that I came up with during For Media's Day called Straight from the Muzzle, which was just like this picture of like a dog muzzle and then like a pipe. But I eventually rolled it into Straight from the Muzzle as a podcast format, something completely new for us. I had to learn how to use Audacity because that thing is a fucking beast. Let me just say that. There's a lot to learn when you're doing like a podcast. And so whenever I hear people saying, I want to create a podcast, and I'm like, good for you. Just let you know, it's not as easy as you think it is. It's very difficult.
It's not just pressing record and speaking.
No, it's not. So I did that, and I rolled the accounts that we already had, or we already had a pretty good following, into Straight from the Muzzle. And then I kind of restructured the team to what we have now. And we've been like that for the past couple of years. It's been the best team I've ever had. I've learned a lot when it comes to edit or recording, because I also had to edit my own episodes as well. And now that Crow edits our episodes, I have so much appreciation for what he does, because it is a nightmare to basically edit episodes. He says, he's gotten it down quicker, but I know the process he's going through. It's painstaking. It's editing out little bits of audio, even if it's like 1 second. muting the tone if it's too loud, or enlarging the sound, or getting rid of an echo. It's so much work to do.
Oh,
But
that reminds me of an audio designer that I know how much work he does.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work. I'm not going to lie. The whole process of going from For Media into video to a live show to transitioning to a podcast where everything's pre-recorded. There's a lot of things, a lot of steps that I have to take. And once again, like the previous question that Paradox answered, I don't know how my brain doesn't explode. I really don't.
Honestly, like I said, I admire you a lot, because my brain would probably just give up. Because that's a lot of work. Like you said, it's not just, like Gably said, it's not just pressing a button and recording. It's a lot of prep. It's, constantly pushing out these creative ideas.
Yeah.
And, collaborating with, other hosts or getting an interview in. It's a lot of work. And then even after that, after you get done recording and after all of that, you do have all of that editing to do, which is just a mountain of more work. And then finally you get it pushed out and you hope to God people like it. So there's a lot of work. It's not just pressing a button and recording.
And for you guys, for the rest of the team that helps host and write some of the shows, that's it. That's cut and done, and they're done. They don't have to worry about the rest. I have to worry about the rest. I have to make sure that I'm up to snuff on all of the latest things that are going on. I try to stay fresh with ideas. I need to make sure that I have enough time between episodes, that I'm not overloading Crow. I got to make sure that I have time that I can schedule out with my different hosts, because they're all located around the United States, and then not to mention Dear Dog's in the UK, so that's a huge time difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much that goes on. So I make it seem like a cakewalk, like it's no big deal, but truly it's just like chaotic mess that goes on behind the scenes in my brain.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
But I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think did you ask so I'm not messing up here in the notes. Let's see, because we talked about what inspired you to start the podcast, and the next question, I think you actually
He answered it.
He answered it. So
What's the question?
So the question was, how did you come up with the name for Straight from the Muzzle? And you kind of answered that for us in a little bit with your answer. And that's okay. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just ask I don't know.
Well, I have a question actually that just came off the top of my head.
Go ahead.
Go with it.
How did you come up with the mascot for Straight from the Muzzle, and what's their name?
Okay. So a little known secret with the mascots. This kind of rolls into the mascot during For Media's Day, is that the mascots always revolves around a type of broadcasting name. Now, the original mascot for Media was Broadcast. Broadcast was a Dutch angel dragon who was designed by Telephone herself, and I got approval to name him Broadcast because, according to Telephone, you cannot name your Dutch Angel Dragon a name that has to do with words that would kind of roll with broadcasting or
telephone,
radio,
static, so on.
Yeah, and I think what's her husband's name is
Oh shoot.
So we got
I had it until you asked me. So just I think it's radio, telephone.
Oh, yeah,
radio.
telephone and radio, and then you have broadcast. So I had to get special permission for that. And so from there, it always became a thing to always have a mascot. Well, when we rolled into Straight from the Muzzle, Sparrow and I were basically coming up with ideas for a mascot. And she's like, what if we make the new guy or the thing a dog? And let's do a lab kind of a thing, because Straight from the Muzzle is kind of based off of a dog's muzzle, essentially. That would have been the original concept.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, what if we name him Blue, as in Blue, the microphone company? So, and then the microphone company, I think is Blue.
Isn't it Blue Yeti or something?
Yeah, it's Blue Yeti, but let me see what the colors for Blue Yeti specifically is. Because I think it's white and then blue, and they have other hues. So we essentially came up with a color concept of being bluish green, light green, and a white. And we decided to name our mascot Blue, who is based off of the Blue Yeti microphone. And we call him Blue.
Very
and that's basically
interesting.
the mascot. Yeah, it's really interesting. So
Awesome. I think some of the next set of questions are a little bit more fun, and I think at some point in time we do loop back into a little bit more seriousness, but deep. Yeah. The deep, dark, and dirty. So, if you could go back in time and join the fandom again, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently and why?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've actually toyed with this idea, this thought, like if I could go back in time just in general and change one aspect, I wouldn't. And the reason why is because I wouldn't have the experiences I have now if I changed one aspect of something in the past. And that would be considered the butterfly effect, where
a lovely effect that's shown in all time travel movies.
Exactly. So I think if I were to go back and change something, I feel like that change would have a very slight effect over time. And I don't think I'd be where I am. I'm sure I'd be doing some sort of media, but it may not be called Straight from the Muzzle. It may not be with Paradox. Yeah, and it may not be with Sparrow or anyone else. It'd be something else. And I really like the journey I've had. It came from a hot mess, and it's had its bumps in the road, but I've learned from those mistakes and I know what to do going forward. And I don't want to change that because I don't want to toy with something great that I have now. It's not worth it for me.
Okay. That makes sense, honestly.
Yeah. Nice. I do like that you're like, you know what? I wouldn't change anything. Because, I mean, you are right. Like, if we had changed, if somebody would have moved a chair, your life would be different. So,
yeah. Well, and I think about it this way. If I've thought about it, like someone's asked me like if you could go back in like your childhood or in school, would you have changed like what you have done? And I thought I had a really rough, childhood. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to side tangent here because I'm not sure. But my childhood is not the cakewalk that I kind of portray it to be. I don't have great relationships with any of my brothers or sisters. They all have fantastic, close relationships. But because I was different and we didn't know what was wrong with me, I now know I have Klinefelter syndrome, but we didn't know that back then. They thought there was just something wrong with me. So I was always in special ed. I was kind of just never really had good friends. Basically, my siblings were forced to bring me along as like a tag along to their adventures. But I know now that it's not what they wanted. I was a nuisance essentially. And I just went through problems. I've been jumped. I've been held at knife point. I was called gay all the way through my schooling, which was really difficult for me because at that time I wasn't putting two and two together. It wasn't in my adolescent years between so-and-so to like maybe age 23. It wasn't clicking for me. So a lot of bad things have happened, but all the bad things that have ever happened to me, I feel like is kind of like a good thing. And it's weird to look at it that way, but I feel like all of that prepared me for what life is going to throw at me. And now, as someone who's a little bit older, when I read emails from people who have gone through a past like mine, I can respond back and be like, I know exactly what you're going through. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you, kind of thing. If I were to change something about my aspect of my life, whether it be easier, I wouldn't be able to relate with people the way I do now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's made me think back when the first week I met, like we actually talked to each other, you helped me through that whole accident that happened.
Yeah. That was rough for you.
Yeah. But going on to the next question, this one's more fun, and Paradox came up with this one, actually. If you had to create a dance move inspired by space, what would it look like, and how about a theme song?
Oh, my God. Okay, so it would have to be an adaptation to the dab. Because I love dabbing.
We've seen it in space art.
I love dabbing. It's so much fun. There's this GIF that I absolutely love. It's like this chubby Hispanic kid on a slip and slide, and he slip and slides, and then he does like this sudden like dab move and kind of kicks his legs back. If I find it, I'll attach it to this episode so you guys can see what I mean.
Please.
And it's so fucking hilarious. I'm like, that is what I want to do. And so I feel like if I could do that on a dance floor, if I could get enough, like, I guess you could say lube on the dance floor, I would totally do that in fursuit where I could slide and do the dab.
Oh my god.
Just wear really slippery socks.
And it would be to the song, the Deja Vu.
Yes.
That song.
I'm just imagining you at a skating rink and it's all slicked up so you can slide all the way across it.
Oh my
yes.
god.
And then like little like magical rainbow sparklies would be like shooting from the back of me.
That's amazing.
I'm just imagining
like
you
little
also
sparkly
holding
streamers.
glow sticks.
Yes.
I still want to enter a dance contest, but I want to be able to like hold like glitter in one paw. So that way when I do my final move, it's like a punch to the sky. And as I punch to the sky, the glitter comes out and it shoots out everywhere.
Oh god, the cleaning.
Oh, it would be so amazing.
Just create like a little small like confetti cannon and then have it okay, do you know those little like Spider-Man like web shooters that you can buy like kids toys or whatever? Just do that, but somehow configure it to where you can have like glitter or confetti shoot out, so that way it looks like you're punching still, because you would hold the trigger for it like a Spider-Man thing. Just don't do the Spider-Man like hand flex or whatever, and just punch the air, just boom, pop it out like one of those little confetti poppers.
Have you ever seen Blades of Glory?
No, I have not.
Ooh,
Oh
I
my
think
god.
I have.
Okay. So it's got Will Ferrell and John Heater in it. They make fun of like the ice skating world, but I'm going to send this picture to both of you because it's the
I love
stance.
ice skating.
It's the stance that he does that I really want to do. And then when he does this stance, he's got like this little like fire contraption there. So when he punches his stance, fire comes out.
Oh my god.
Just need that, but for confetti or glitter.
It would be so amazing.
It would be really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we got your theme song and your dance. Here's a little casual question for you. What are some of your favorite video games? And what are you playing right now?
Oh, I love video games. Okay. But I like PC games specifically. So I really love the Borderlands series, except for the first game, because that one sucks.
Oh.
So Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, love both of those. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a really cool one to do. And then she
I've been
even
meaning
has
to play that.
She has like I think it's like a DLC to the Borderlands 2. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a separate game by itself, which is really cool to play. I really like playing the roguelike game called Gunfire Reborn. It's fun because like roguelites, when you're going through, the options change, so you never know what kind of guns you're going to get or special abilities. You kind of just roll with the punches. Let me open up my games real quick.
Does that game also, I believe, like it connects to Twitch and your chat is able to like mess with the game I'm thinking of?
Maybe. I'm not quite sure on that. I have Steam. Let me pull up my Steam here.
Ooh, it's getting steamy.
Yes. I recently bought, so May the 4th be with you had a huge like Steam sale for a Star Wars game. So I bought Battlefront 2 with the DLCs.
Nice.
Surprisingly, a really short game, campaign-wise.
It's very short.
I was very shocked, but I love it. It was a lot of fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get the Star Wars Legos for the PC. I tried playing Star Wars Lego or Lego Star Wars on the Switch, and it sucks balls. It's like, like when you're trying to like aim down, like with your scope and stuff, it's just the camera angles and everything. It's just so wonky, and I don't like it. I really like, what is it called? Let me see if it's in my games library here, because there's one specific that I can just play over and over and over again.
Before I forget, have you played Star Wars Fallen Order yet?
No, I haven't though.
Oh, it is so good. I haven't played the second game yet, but the first game is so good. It's also canon.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I played Outriders. That was fun. I tried to play Destiny 2, but that game is so fucking confusing. It has a good concept. I just didn't really like it as much.
No,
I played RoboQuest, Risk of Rain.
Risk of Rain is fun.
Risk of Rain is fun.
When you played Wobble Dogs.
That was interesting. It takes a lot of time and effort that I just don't have. Oh, Saints Row. So I really like the Saints Row games because they make fun of the Grand Theft Auto games.
Oh, that's funny.
And then on my Switch, I'm currently playing Pokemon. Oh,
Is it
what's
Scarlet
Scarlet
or
and
Violet?
Violet or Sword and
Violet.
Shield?
Violet.
Nice.
Okay.
I've already beaten the game except for some of the legend ones. I'm still trying to find the little like stakes in the ground and stuff.
All
But
right.
yeah,
I totally
I've got
don't have a
variety of
map.
games.
I don't have a map of the whole world with every stake on it.
I usually have to go onto Gamer Rant or Meadow Mines or something like that to find the maps, and then I have to go from there.
I thought you would like Hi-Fi Rush.
I have Hi-Fi Rush, I believe,
Right.
but then I looked at isn't it just like a side scroll game?
I think it's also 3D as well.
Oh. I'll have to relook at it. I looked at it before and I'm like, this doesn't really look like a game that maybe I want. The art always looks cool, and then when I watch the gameplay itself, I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Okay.
So.
So that finishes up that one, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And I also like to play Yahtzee. I know that's random, but I play it online
Nice.
religiously.
That makes me think of like you destroy kids at Yahtzee every chance you can get.
Aha, I beat you. Go back to your home, you little squirm. I don't know. I'm really bad at that.
You're really bad at talking gamer talk.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh my
I can't really talk trash.
Now, my question, I'm actually going to change it up here, and I'm going to surprise you and Paradox about this. What is your favorite gift you've ever gotten from your husband?
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I'm going to think about this.
The gift of love.
I remember, what was it you who talked about you wanted to get an Oculus one year?
Me?
Yeah, I thought you
okay.
wanted a Quest one year, or VR something.
I still do, but I just don't want to pay for it. Because they're expensive.
Oh yeah, they are. I got one myself, and it's pretty good.
Okay, I know exactly what to choose here. So, like myself, Felix is very talented in a lot of things. He can paint, he can draw, he plays violin, like concert violinist style, like level. But he also crochets, and he crocheted me a SpaceBear, like a mini one.
Aww.
And he gave that to me, and I took it with me to MFF. And every time I travel alone, I always take it with me so that it's there with me. And then
doesn't he have one?
Yeah, he has one too. So he made one as well. So I think what I'll probably do in the future is if I travel alone again, I'll probably take his so it'll be with me and he can have mine. But we both have knitted or crocheted little stuffies, and he's done it for a couple other friends, but I feel like mine's the best.
That's so cute. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Coincidentally, I do have a picture. I gotta find it. It's not savory, but it's at MFF. Punya had like a suction cup dildo.
Oh,
She took out of her bag and just pushed it on the wall, and I'm like, oh my god. And I think I was drunk. I'm like, we should see if I can get my like stuffed animal to sit on this. So I put it on top. And I'm pretty sure I have a picture of it somewhere.
That's amazing.
Oh, that
Yeah.
that is that around the same time around Con Girl?
No. Are you talking about Platypus Girl?
Yes, Platypus Girl.
No, that was FWA. I've never been to FWA. This was at coincidentally Chlorine Con. That's happened. So good stuff. Good memories.
Hooray! All right.
Okay, Paradox.
Sweet. All right. So, if your persona could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
That is a good question. I don't know. What would I do? That is a really good question.
I mean, your bear's already go gadget.
Well, not anymore. The bear is now more or less very much a spinning image of me. There is something on the back of my character, which is like a glowing unicorn.
Which is so cute.
Which is super cute. And it's kind of like my version, the little like markings that like My Little Ponies have on their hip.
A cutie mark?
Yeah, a cutie mark. It's my version of a cutie mark.
Cute.
So I don't know. I don't think I would I don't want to fly because I hate flights, man. It just sucks. Okay. It's such an odd superpower because I don't know how it would work. But if my character could have the power to point and make someone wear a fabulous outfit, that would be it.
It would be called
Ooh.
Fabutouch.
Yeah, and it'd be like, take a straight guy, cowboy kind of a thing, and be like, Shazam. And like, it would be like this guy that's just in the most ridiculous, like gayest, most fabulous looking outfit possible.
Space, you need to say that in the gay voice, not a regular voice.
That is my gay voice.
You gotta go Shazam!
No, his normal voice is his gay voice. He can't
You have to put more effort into it.
I don't know how to put more Shazam.
There you go.
And then I'll be like, snap. You're welcome. And then like move on, like skip down the road or something.
Okay, so
you get an outfit, and you get an outfit, and you get an outfit.
And there's just a red carpet in front of you as you walk.
Yeah. It like slowly appears.
It's just okay, so your voice is just gay voice all the time. You don't have that gay voice that's like, this is my Ford F-150. And it's like, did I do it? Was it butch enough?
Oh my god, I love that video.
Yeah.
I've tried to go straight with my voice, and the second I open my mouth, that's when you know.
Oh, you know.
You know. Because if you don't hear it in my voice, you'll definitely see it in my body language.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah.
A little side tangent is that, so I'm on testosterone, and I have noticed that like my sass level is jacked up. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm supposed to be on testosterone. Like, I'm supposed to be a bit more manly. I'm like, but here I am, like, sassing everybody, and it's so funny. And like, my body language has changed. I'm becoming a gay man, and it's hilarious.
I have these like side eye looks that I kind of do with like where I kind of like tilt my neck a little bit and I kind of up my shoulder a little bit, and I do them all the time at work.
Oh,
and my boss are like, "Don't give me the skunk eye," and I'll be like, "Excuse me?" Like,
oh my god,
I can't really like reenact it. It just kind of has to be like one of those things that you see.
It's like also with my partners, I have two of them. They're very lovely. They're like, you have the gay walk. And I'm like, what's a gay walk? And they're just like, walk, and I'll show you. And then they show me a video of just me walking. So you know the walk when you see it.
Okay, I definitely have a gay walk. It's the runway model walk.
Yes.
oh my god.
And when I don't know when I started doing this, but I do this now when I'm walking. My arms are down to my side, but then my palms are pressed up.
Yeah.
And I kind of just walk like a prissy little, I don't know why I do it, but I do it. And I'm like, my God, if, can I just do something that's not over the top gay?
No.
So
I can't walk like that, evidently. Okay, I've been made fun of for how I walk my entire life. I don't know why. People are just like, why do you walk like that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just walking normally. This is just how I walk. And then I actually watched like myself walk, and then I watched a butch lesbian walk, and I'm like, God damn it, I walk like a lesbian. Like, that's what it is. So my attitude and sass is becoming more gay man, but I still walk like a butch lesbian, and it's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So to bring up the next one, I've actually been curious about this. If for not you being a bear, if you had to change your persona to be anything else, what would you be?
A unicorn. Hands down.
It makes me think of the movie Lucky. Just that unicorn.
Never seen it.
Oh,
wait. No, I have. Is Lucky the one where they do the heist?
Yeah, they do the heist with the coin.
And it's got Daniel Craig in it?
Yes.
He's like in jail. Okay, yeah, I have seen that.
Or wait, no. It's the one with she finds a lucky penny and goes to the land of leprechauns, and she's trying to get a lucky penny back. I forgot what the movie is called.
I don't think I've ever seen it then.
It was made in 2022. His name is Jeff.
Oh, it's an animated movie.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it. Apple TV, that's why.
Oh, I've just watched it totally not pirating. No.
No, not at all.
I have a Plex server.
So do I.
It's good stuff. Yeah, so unicorn. That'd be a unicorn, hands down.
All right.
All right. Good one.
Cool. I was going to ask this one question that we have in here, but I think I'm going to skip that one because you kind of answered one, like you already answered it. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is.
Oh God.
I know. So
There you go.
would be. What is happening?
He saw Jeff.
Oh no!
Send me a picture. I just don't like it.
I have to experience Jeff. Somebody send me Jeff.
Oh, I'll send you Jeff.
Okay.
Thing is, he's in love with a dragon who controls what is lucky and what isn't.
What is that?
Right? Hi, I'm Jeff.
Oh my god.
But he sounds
the
more
I do lightsaber battles with my friends.
he sounds more German.
Oh. How do I do a German voice?
I don't know, Space. You're German.
I know, and I love doing accents, but I don't think I know.
We're not German, but I think Scottish, actually. Everyone in that movie is like Scottish in some way.
I mean, the only thing I can be like, yeah.
That's the voice. That is the voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
my
is very
God.
good, yeah.
No, that's Jeff.
That's
So-
hilarious.
The dragon is a girl. I'm sorry, Space, you
Girls.
can't fit a girl voice.
Gross.
Yeah, you could.
I can
Totally.
do-
I don't think so.
Totally. What are you talking about?
I can't do it because my voice doesn't get up there anymore.
I can do a girl voice.
I can't.
It doesn't go up there
I can do
anymore.
a Valley Girl voice.
When I do it, I sound like Moxie from Hell of a Boss trying to be a girl in that one episode, and it's fucking hilarious.
God. I love Hell of a Boss.
My name is Girly Teen Girl. I can't do it.
Okay, side tangent. That was side tangent.
That's okay.
Who's got the next question?
I also pretty much snuck in a question while you were doing that, by the way. So it's back to Paradox in between that. It was actually about, have you faced any challenges or anything that has troubled you during the furry fandom, which you pretty much talked about it.
It's kind of
Yeah.
true.
So that's part of the challenge. I also feel like that with some of the friends that I have to compete to get their attention, I've come to the realization that it's not worth my time to do that anymore. So I've kind of just stepped back from certain relationships because I feel like I'm giving more than I'm actually getting in return. And I never give thinking that I'm going to get something back. But when it comes to a friendship, you kind of hope that comes back like the same way or at least tenfold. And so for me, there are certain relationships that I just don't pursue anymore. I've also been burned by one particular individual, which I won't say who. And so now I just don't trust the information that I give them. So whenever we're together, we're talking, yeah, it's a fun kind of a conversation, but I don't give out personal information. I don't give my opinion anymore because I'm afraid that they're going to turn around and say to that person that I'm talking about. I just can't trust them anymore, unfortunately. And when you break the trust,
It's
then
never
I'm
really
done.
gone back. Yeah.
I'm done. Like you break my trust and that basically shatters the foundation of our relationship.
I would hope
So-
that kind of shatters any sort of foundation with any relationship or friendship because, like, trust and like being able to be honest with somebody in a safe space is so important.
Yeah, you think that like a conversation that you have in confidence with someone else would be just that, confidence, but it's
Yeah.
not. It was then turned around and then
You mean confidential?
yeah. So
Yeah.
when I say in confidence, it's a confidential conversation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now I know that's not the case. That's not the case with the other friends that I have, but for this one particular person, I just can't trust anything I say anymore. And it's not worth it. I don't want to compete against it anymore. They have their close friendships, whatever. That's their thing. I'm going to pursue my own thing.
I get that, definitely. Which leads us into our next question, Paradox, if you may.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it really does segue into this next question in a way. This is actually a question about your co-hosts. So like myself included. What do you like most about your co-hosts?
I like that they're honest and they're closer to me relationship wise than my own family.
I will cry.
I feel like my hosts know more about me than probably my brothers do, and my mom and everyone else.
And I've gotten to know you quite well too, Space.
I feel like if I have a problem, I know who I can go to talk to. Usually it's Paradox or Sparrow. Sometimes it's Dear Dog. It really depends on the topic. If I'm frustrated about something that's happening in the LGBTQ community and I need someone who's going to understand and get my back, I usually go to Ruby, because Ruby pretty much knows how I feel and I know how Ruby feels. And so I feel this bond with each of my team members that I don't necessarily have with anyone else. So to me, they're family, and I wouldn't want them to go away ever.
Which is lovely, and I absolutely understand that completely. That's why a bunch of the people that I talk with, like you, for example, I consider family too. It's very small what I consider my family.
I think for me, if I may interject, so like, I think I feel the same, because I don't have the greatest relationship, say, with a lot of my family members, unfortunately. So like, I really adore and cherish like my quote unquote, I guess, found family, which is a lot of like my close knit friends like you, Space, and also now Gably and whatnot. Because, and I'll be honest, and like recently, I have been going through a lot. I won't get into super detail about it. And like, I think my most recent problem is that I will kind of like secluded myself a little bit, where I'm like, I don't want to burden anybody with like my problem, you know, and I don't want to like, I don't want to do that. And it's like, but I also have to remember that like, these are my close-knit friends, and these are people that care about me and, you know, and whatnot. And I should feel safe to open up and talk about things. And I do. And I think I just have to remember that more often, because sometimes I think I just forget, or I really realistically just don't want to bother or disrupt anybody else's peace, because I know how that is. And like some of the stuff that, especially like myself, I mean, everybody else is valid in their own issues, but like a lot of the stuff that I've been through is really heavy shit. so like, I really try not to burden anybody with like the really heavy stuff. But like I said, I'm just really appreciative of the people that I have and that are in my life, and people that I consider family. And a lot of like my family is from all walks of life and from all over the place. But yeah, like I guess in a way I'm just saying, I see you, I understand you, and I feel the same way.
Going back on like friendships in general, I'd say a fair amount of friends to get me by for the rest of my life in the fandom. I don't need a lot. I have my very close knit friends. I think my podcast team is probably the close knit friends I've ever had, closest ever. Then there are the next wave of friends. Gably, you're in this next wave. Now, I'm not saying you're not a close friend, but you're in the next wave of close friends as well. And then there are other friends outside that I'm getting to know, that I'm slowly drawing into that previous wave of close friends. So, like I said, I don't have popular friends. Mostly, I don't need, and I don't necessarily want popular friends. I like the friends that I have, like the connection I have with them. It works for me. Popularity for me is not a thing. It never was when I was in school, and it still isn't today. And I have had people tell me, oh, you're popular. You're like, I've had people like, you got the best podcast. And I'm like, yay, you know, but I don't see myself like that. I see myself like everyone else who listens to our show. I am the same level as you. I am not better than you. We are the same.
Which makes sense. And to be honest, I want to become even closer with you, Space, as friends, of course.
And in time that will happen. The best thing I can recommend when it comes to friendships in general for everyone to listen to this, don't force it. The more you force a friendship, the further apart it's going to push someone, and it's going to cause more cracks than you realize that you're not seeing. If you let the friendship naturally happen over time, that friendship will then grow into a strong bond. And that's something that Gably and I are building, is a really strong bond. So Gably, don't force it. But I think the way that we're going is great.
Sometimes I just message you being like, hey, how's it going? Then send a GIF or something.
And that's okay. So that's the other thing too. So
I think that's just Gably's love language.
Yeah, that's just me.
So people message me on Telegram a lot, but sometimes, and this kind of goes like hand in hand a little bit. Sometimes I'm just not like in the mood, or sometimes I'm working and I'm busy and I'll see the message and I mean to reply back, but then I don't reply back. And I feel so bad because I'm like, I'm such a jerk for not replying back. So I'm always like apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get back. Like, I see your messages and, you know, like, and then
I'm
I
always
remember,
okay with it.
well, and this is where it gets me. And I'm starting to think, oh no, you are becoming a poppy fur, because this is exactly what they do. They only talk to their close-knit friends. And then when people message them, they just ignore the message. What are you doing? And so like, I try to correct course, being like, no, it's not what I am. I don't want to be this. So yeah, little slice of Space's life there.
And now to go on a calmer tone, what are some upcoming projects you're most excited to work on, and any special guests to get us hyped up for upcoming episodes in the near future?
Okay, so next week, which just doesn't really mean anything for anyone listening to this because the time will have passed by then, we are interviewing a university director of esports, where we're going to be talking about and making the connections with furries and esports in the LGBTQ plus community. So that is something we've never done before, and it'll be nice to have an expert with us. And then I'm also bringing on Ruby, because Ruby is also fairly keen on esports, and I am not, because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to esports. So that'll be fun. Paradox and I are going to be talking about kinks and fetishes for Pride.
That will be a really explicit episode.
Yeah.
So please be 18 and older.
Yeah,
This is not a children friendly episode that is up and coming.
Definitely putting a close on that chest though, and locking it with a key. There's stuff in it that kids aren't allowed to be in.
Well, for that particular episode, I do plan on marking it for mature content. So that way, when they try to listen on Spotify or somewhere else, they have to acknowledge that they're of age. And if they are lying, that's your fault, not mine. So as far as guests coming up, I have a few in mind, but I don't want to release the names yet because I don't want to jinx myself.
That's fine.
Secret.
Secrets. I
We'll
do
just say
occasionally
be
reach out to
excited.
people on Twitter, introduce myself and all that jazz, but rarely do I, even in fellow conversation, rarely do I talk to friends at game night about the podcast, let alone people that I'm bringing up. And there's a reason for that, because when I was first doing for media, I had listened to an episode that my friend Rue was doing for his podcast, and I thought, ooh, what a great idea. So I also did that. And then I was accused of stealing the episode idea. So ever since then, I do not listen to furry podcasts, except for my own. And I don't talk about who I'm going to have on, just in case they try to steal my ideas.
Ooh, you like listening to your own voice, you hear.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't listen to other furry podcasts, and I'm sure there are people out there like, well, I have a furry podcast. Great, good for you. The reason I don't is because I don't want to gain inspiration from yours and then have it come back and bite me in the ass.
That is one thing that is kind of unfortunate in, I want to say, the furry fandom, explicitly, because you can. There's nothing wrong with gaining inspiration, as long as you're not copy paste stealing.
Yeah.
That is a good thing, because listening to it's in general all podcasts. If you listen to any others, you might come up with an idea that is already there.
And I like my ideas to be fresh and kind of just
original.
Original, exactly.
Yeah. All right. And then I think I have the the very last one. Hooray. All right. So to kind of wrap, this is the wrap up for your interview in specific. We might have a couple more questions from Twitter and Telegram. I kind of, like I said, I've had a little bit of things happen recently where I kind of dropped the ball on getting information out there, but it does look like
ship happens.
A ship does happen. So we do have I think one from Twitter, and then I think maybe one or two from Telegram, which is fine. So I think I'll save that very last question because I think that kind of wraps everything up. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and going to ask the couple questions that we have on Twitter. So let's see.
Which I have on hand as well.
Perfect. So if you actually wanted to ask the Twitter one, go ahead and ask the Twitter one.
If it'll load for me.
If you don't have
you said you had it on hand.
I had it on hand until it disappeared. Why don't you ask the first one that appeared?
So, because I think actually...
Choose actually 2 questions and then one more or less a statement.
Yes.
It's true. Okay.
If it helps,
right.
I have it up.
Ooh.
I also have it up. So
we all three have it up.
First one. What are some of the craziest experiences in life you've had?
Okay, so it's a hard one because there's lots. Okay, I think the craziest one has to always be and will always be referenced to Chlorine Con. And the reason I say that is because we did a panel called Convention Horror Stories where I brought on like 4 or 5 different sets of Popufurs. And I'll be honest, it was like the funnest panel I have ever ran because it was just a nonstop laughing stop. We packed the room to the point where staff came in and said that the fire marshal said there's too many people in here and we need to vacate the area. So then we had people sitting outside in the hallway as we're telling all these stories of like the worst things that ever happened at conventions. Well, after that panel's done, Poogie and I go have dinner and then we're up in the room, we're drinking. And then the alarms go off. And then we are being evacuated. And we find out that someone threw a chlorine jar, or powder of chlorine, down the stairwell.
Oh,
and
God.
I remember like that night, because I was like, I want to go. I hope they have a hot tub. And I asked the staff, like, you guys have a hot tub? And they're like, no, we got rid of it to make more convention space. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then, I'm up and we're drinking and we're evacuating the hotel. They're like, don't take the elevators, take the stairs. So what did Poogie and I do? Take the elevators. We take the elevators down. And as the door opens up to the main lobby, I'm like, they have a pool. I can smell it. They lied. But that was the most chaotic and crazy experience that ever happened. But the crazy, awesome thing about that horrible experience is that I got to see a side of the fandom that I've never seen before. And that was furries helping other furries locate missing furries via Facebook and Twitter. It was awesome. People were saying, hey, I'm missing this person. Someone else is like, hey, I think I found them. What do they look like? And they're constantly commenting back and forth and communicating. And I saw the best aspect of the fandom in a terrible situation happen in real life. And it was so cool to witness. Oh, so that's probably the craziest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah. And I like how the statement is just Platypus Girl. And earlier I brought up her.
That is
it's so Platypus Girl is a story from Sparrow of someone who followed them up to their room, and it was a really awkward experience. At every moment that I can, I try to tease Sparrow about Platypus Girl because someone brings it up. But I love the fact that someone actually brought it up, which means it's listened to the earliest episodes.
It's been a long time ever since it's been brought up.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's funny.
Of course, we have the question from Blue, one of the new co-hosts, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
What were the events of June 1st, 2022? Do you have explaining space?
I do, but not in the way you think. So I was looking on Twitter and I'm like, what the fuck is this question? What am I supposed to do with this? And I'm looking, I'm like, did I do something on June 1st, 2022? And I'm thinking, and I'm like, did I do like a weird episode? So I go to Telegram, I'm like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, well, don't you know what happened? I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking you. He's like, that was the day that Johnny Depp won the case against Amber Heard. I'm like, bull! That's literally what that question is.
That's hilarious.
So June 1st, 2022, Johnny Depp wins the court case against his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend Amber Heard.
And of course, the episode that's even closest to that was First World Problems.
Oh gosh, that's so that's a long. It's several years away. So
yeah, and especially talking about Mano Kits too. The episode before,
I love that episode because we ripped it apart.
Yeah, and then you
I
were
feel
like,
bad
"Oh,
for
what's
anyone
some
who's a mannequin,
circles?"
but at the same time, I'm just like, your lore sucks. Like whoever wrote your lore was like a child or something. It's just
No.
you have to go and listen to that episode because I make good points about everything throughout the whole episode itself.
And then talking about circles, how there's one hate commenter talking about circles.
Yeah, so there's this one person, I don't know if they're a dude or a chick, but every time we talk about circles, they send an email complaining that we've basically made fun of them. And because circles have a wedge-shaped face and it looks like a wedge of cheese or a boat. Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. It's a weird ass looking creature, and I'm just kind of making fun of it because that's what we do. But this person had to go out of their way and tell me why I was wrong and how it's so mean that I would say that. And I'm like, bro, if you're taking this episode so seriously, by all means, please don't listen to our show anymore because it is not up your alley.
Yeah.
If you get if any one of you guys have ever gotten bent out of shape over an episode, that's your problem, not mine.
I always wanted to be like, you never talked about kangaroos or skunks.
I mean, what's to say about kangaroos? I mean, they're kind of generic.
They're
Sorry.
they're a more uncommon species that you find.
I think
in
the
the fandom.
combo, like the hybrids of the species, are more fun than just
Yeah.
like skunks and kangaroos.
That's why I technically am one of the very few hybrids of kangaroo skunk sometimes.
It's like when people ask us, "Can you do an episode about wolves and whipskies?" And I'm like, "What's to talk about?"
Like, it's a dog.
We're talking about starter Pokemon furries here. Like, everyone knows everything about it. What am I supposed to talk about? I do get emails from people asking us to do episodes about original species, something that I've never been familiar with. And those are cool because then I really have to go and do my research and try to figure it out. But sometimes they give me names of species that are just so obscure that there's no information. And I'm like, this seems like a really cool like possibility, but then there's no information. So I can't build an episode around this.
It's like, this seems like you had a dream one night and we're like, do this! It has to exist! And it's like, you look it up and it's like, well, did you pull this out of your ass? Or...
It's like a Post-it note that you write on the side of your, what do you call it? Stand. I'm like, oh, here's a really cool idea. And you wake up and you're like, what's with the scribble?
Yeah.
What's with the scribble that says potatoes?
Yeah, so sometimes they're good ideas and sometimes they're really crappy ideas. But of course,
then
I never tell them that. I always email people and I'm like, it's a great idea. And I'm always, thanks, for listening and all this jazz. And, I'll look into it. And then that's pretty much where it is.
But then every chance you can get, you send me that one kangaroo on Twitter with big ass feet.
Oh my God. I sent Paradox a video.
Yes. I love that kangaroo.
I love him too.
He posted a video and he's like, I'm heading out for steppies. And I'm like, is that what you call it? Big ass feet and stepping on people?
But
That's
he
more
also
like obliterating.
I love how he's also a motor fur. He loves cars.
And he's also a polygon fur too. Yeah. So he loves like angles and stuff. He's got a poly fursuit, which is really cool looking.
When I thought of polyfur, I like stacking shapes.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what it is. He's just a shaped fur.
I like rhombuses.
I like parallelogram.
Parallelograms.
I like Pythagorean theorems.
Now you guys stop it.
Okay. Paradox, we should probably move on to the last question.
That's true. Well, actually, there's technically two, but the other one was kind of answered. It's on Telegram, so I was looking on the because
I just saw that.
Yeah. It was pretty much answered.
It really was. I think the very last one on the Telegram one is if you could own any building or place in the world, where would it be and why?
Okay.
I want to own Ireland. Give me Ireland.
Jeez, that's a good question.
Give me Australia.
Oh, you want to deal with the big bugs and the spiders and everything that's huge, okay?
I have a match and hairspray. I will not mess with those.
Tell that to the huntsman spider that crawls up your ass in the middle of the night.
My house is burning down. I'm sorry.
Okay, so if I had to own a building, has anyone here ever seen Crazy Rich Asians?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay, you know that giant hotel that looks like a boat in the sky?
Yes.
Okay, that's the hotel I would totally like to own, but I would make some adjustments to it, and I'd actually make it look like a legitimate boat is being held up in the sky.
Of course you would.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably what I would do. What was the other question? I'm curious.
The other one was...
The other one was, if for the future of the furry fandom, what do you envision and hope to contribute to it?
Oh, that was the last question in the interview, not the last question for Telegram.
Oh.
What's the last? What was the last question for or the other question on Telegram?
Oh my gosh! So the last...
I just messed up.
No, it's okay. So the last, the other question on Telegram.
Got you into hosting.
Yeah,
okay.
that was it. But we kind of answered that, so that's why I skipped over it. But anyway, Gabby, you're right. So it's what do you envision for the future of the furry fandom, and how do you hope to contribute to it?
So as basically an audio journalist, as a podcaster, I hope that we play pivotal roles in people finding their way in the fandom with the fresh ideas that we're constantly coming up with. I think that'll help. The future of the fandom is so interesting. There's a lot of AI that's going in right now, a lot of VR that I think is really cool. There's a lot of new concepts of how fursuits are being made that I think is just so neat. And then when we were talking about with younger furries in that previous episode where there was some paper mask furries that they're doing their own thing. And I think that's just so cool. And I think the fandom it's oddly enough, I mean, it started out with a bunch of middle-aged men. And then essentially, and then it's growing almost like going backwards a little bit, not like backwards in time, but backwards as far as age goes into the fandom. And I feel like the further we go, the younger the people are that are joining, but these young ideas and fresh perspectives is what's really pushing the fandom into a new direction, which I think is just so cool. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm sure it's going to be a wild ride, and I can't wait to report on it and constantly come up with new ideas and new guests. And who knows, maybe we'll do a VR podcast one day. I'm not saying it's off the table, but it could be a possibility. I don't know where we're going to go. I know that we'll be around, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So actually, I think that actually wraps up our interview for you today, Space. Did you have anything else that you would like to add?
Nope.
Gably, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Not really, no. I can't think of anything except, I guess, a bonus small question. Space, what is the favorite animal that you've owned?
I haven't actually officially owned any animal.
Really? That's info.
My sisters and brothers have had animals. I don't have any of them. So.
Okay, time to send you a kitten.
I'm trying to get Felix into the idea of fostering a pet, because when you're fostering from like the shelter, they'll provide everything for you. All you need to do is basically just take care of the animal. So that would be a way of kind of getting your foot in the door, but we don't really have any animals.
My kittens are actually being raised to be support animals.
Oh, cute.
How?
Well, because you can have emotional support animals, and cats work great for emotional support.
Cats are like the biggest bitches of all the animals, pets that you can have. They have such sass, and man, they're not afraid to attack you and say what it is. Dogs just look at you hopelessly.
It's because
cats look at you like they're gonna like plan your death.
It's because they're gonna be going to a training session with actual trainers to be trained to be support animals.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
They're easy to be trained if you know how to train a cat.
I do not. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Anyways, folks, that wraps it up for today. Just want to thank Gably for joining us for this interview, and also thank Space for your time. It's been really great getting to know you a little bit more deeper. And I think it's been well past overdue to actually do this sort of interview with the founder, creator of Straight from the Muzzle. It's been really fun. So thank you to both of you.
You're welcome. And maybe I'll turn the tables and interview you sometime.
Oh, heck yeah. I can't wait. I am ready.
I would love to join in for that again because I'm great at that.
Absolutely. Yes, you came up with some great questions. And like I said, you were a pleasure to have today in this episode. I am going to mention that to anybody that's listening, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube. If you want to ever send us an email, it is talktothemuzzle@gmail.com. We are also on Telegram. There's a great group of people. It's always active. So feel free to check that out. I believe the link is probably somewhere in the Spotify and or YouTube, whatnot. Feel free to join there. Other than that, I think that wraps it up. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your night. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.